On a hilltop in northwestern Nepal, the Jharkot Monastery overlooks the largest river valley in the world. During the past 500 years, this monastery, or Gompa in Tibetan, has been an inspirational haven for residents and visitors of Jharkot, a small village in the historic Kali Gandaki Valley. The Gompa is a retreat and study center for Buddhist monks throughout the valley. Religious ceremonies, or pujas in Tibetan, are held here. The Gompa's prayer hall displays priceless wall paintings and other religious art forms, including this traditional Wheel of Life diagram on the front porch, which depicts the various realms of existence. Butter candles provide light for those who have departed this world and are now making their journey on to their next life. Prayer wheels near the Gompa enable those who pass by to send prayers to the protective powers and deities. Wind-powered prayer flags on the Gompa roof offer harmony and spiritual well-being to the entire valley. The practice of the Buddhist teachings are important goals for those who participate in the spiritual and educational life of the Jharkot Gompa. The day starts early for these young students. Cleaning up and taking breakfast are part of the preparation for the long day ahead. Learning is a high priority for the young monks or novitiates and a few girls who study at the Gompa's small boarding school. In class, they study history, math, English, and religious education.
I for A for L for lion. M for mango. N for net.
On holidays, the young students play soccer on a nearby field. They find unique ways to test their physical prowess. And like kids everywhere, they like to win. Religious education is emphasized at the school, where most of the boys will become Buddhist monks, serving the religious needs of the area much like a village priest or minister. The Gompa also contains an Amchi school, where young monks learn the ancient wisdom of Tibetan medicine. This school is run by the Austrian charitable foundation Echo Himal, under the leadership of its director Swang Norbu. Here the young Amchi students learn the principles of Tibetan medicine. From the nearby mountains they gather flowers and roots, which are then cured in special storage rooms. These medicinal roots are then ground into medicine with a mortar and pestle. The medicine is labeled and stored in jars. A clinic run by an Amchi doctor and teacher of the young monks is always available to the local villagers. There are no nearby Western medical facilities, and the Tibetan medicine plays a crucial role in the healthcare of the Jharkot community. Roads are non-existent. There are no wheeled vehicles in this rugged region of northwest Nepal. All food supplies, building materials, everything must be carried for several days by small horses, mules, or human porters to the Gompa and village. Since there is no electricity, solar panels heat water and supply some light in the evenings by charging deep-cell batteries. Yet the daily routine of life goes on today, just as it has for centuries. Water leaks were destroying the priceless wall paintings in the main prayer hall. Furthermore, erosion was eating away at the Gompa's foundation. Engineers predicted that soon the entire structure would crash into the river far below. The abbot and surrounding villagers were all concerned that the Jharkot Monastery would soon be lost. In 1989, a young American by the name of Chris Purnell arrived at the Jharkot Gompa. He was spending his junior year of college in Nepal with the University of Wisconsin. Chris spoke fluent Tibetan. He spent several months in Kathmandu studying Himalayan art while also painting a tanka, the traditional Tibetan scrolled painting. While traveling throughout northwest Nepal, Chris conducted a detailed study of Tibetan Buddhist art and architecture, which was later compiled into a book format. Chris was concerned about the deterioration of the monastery, and he vowed to come back someday to help restore the Gompa. After graduating from college, Chris earned a master's degree in geography and was determined to follow a career working for a better world environment. He also pursued his love of climbing, which included a solo ascent of the 3,000-foot El Cap in Yosemite National Park. In 1997, at the age of 28, Chris lost his life while ice climbing in Canada. As a memorial to his love of the Himalayas and his desire to help preserve and restore the art and architecture of Tibetan Buddhism, his family is helping to fulfill his dream. In the year 2000, a new roof was completed at the Jharkot Monastery with the help of the Christopher Purnell Foundation for the Preservation of Tibetan Art and Culture. This new structure ended the water leaks, while a new cupola channeled light into the main prayer hall. The following year, a Gambian-style retaining wall was constructed, which will stop the erosion of the foundation and thus preserve the monastery from total destruction. Currently, new dormitories and classrooms are being constructed at the Jharkot Gompa by the Purnell Foundation. In 2001, Barbara Westerdahl Stenflo, a librarian from Sweden, traveled from her home in Malmö to volunteer her services as a teacher to the young students at the Amchi school. She also instructed a young girl student from the nearby village of Kingus.
If I should read this one. Yes. An ant lives in a hole. A hole is a home for an ant. The ant lives happily there. Can you take it after me?
Barbara's love for the young students and her passionate interest in the Gompa continued, despite a year-long battle with cancer. After she died in 2003, a new library was constructed at the monastery and dedicated to her. The Westerdahl Library will soon become a beacon of learning for the students and scholars of northwestern Nepal. Training films in language, history, and music from around the world will be available. Tibetan manuscripts can be studied on CD-ROMs. Information on the practice of Buddhism and Tibetan medicine is being installed on computer-based programs. Carl Purnell, Chris's father, is executive director of the Purnell Foundation. Carl wrote a book, A Mountain Too Far, about his attempt to understand the loss of his son. He visited and sometimes climbed mountains around the world, which Chris had climbed throughout his short life. In the book, Carl describes his first visit to the Jharkot Gompa and how the Purnell Foundation was started.
One might say that tragedy and loss has fueled the work of our foundation, but Buddhism teaches us to honor those whom we've loved and cared for by devoting our lives to helping others. Dedication to a better world was a driving force in the lives of Chris Purnell and Barbara Westerdahl. Restoring the Jharkot Gompa and creating a new library in their honor is, well, it's one way of making both their dreams and our own become a reality.
Today, visitors who come to Jharkot are invited to tour the monastery and visit the Westerdahl Library. Scholars and students wishing to learn more about the early roots of Tibetan Buddhism, the ancient salt route of the Kali Kandaki Valley, or Tibetan medical practices will find information in the library. The Jharkot Gompa has been serving people of the Kali Kandaki Valley for 5 long centuries. Recent renovations and construction will help ensure its future. Yet much remains to be done. A new kitchen and classrooms must replace the present inadequate facilities. The main courtyard desperately needs a stone base. The damaged wall paintings must be repaired by experienced artisans. Achieving these goals will require continued dedication and financial assistance. Friends and supporters throughout the world are invited to help sustain this great Himalayan Gompa, an ongoing source of educational inspiration and spiritual enlightenment for many years to come.